Hey, how's it going? If you're new here, my name is Jan and I love makeup. And if you're not new, thanks for coming back. I really appreciate you. So I was editing today's video and could not find the intro. Apparently I did not record one. So I look nothing like this in the video. It is, I believe, using all of the products I hauled from my recent Ulta order. So if that's the video, gosh, I hope you enjoy it. Give this video a thumbs up if you do, give it a thumbs down if you don't. Thank you so much for your time. Okay, so the majority of these products are from my most recent Ulta haul. I don't have any new eyeshadow palettes. They haven't come in yet. They're in the coming up delivery from Ulta. So I thought maybe I would cheat just a tiny. These are new, I haven't used them yet. So I have two options I could use for eyeshadows. One is the BH Cosmetics Weekend by Blueberry Muffin palette. I've heard really good things about that. And then the Nabla Cutie palette in the shade Midnight. This is what that looks like. The white. All of these shades are gorgeous. I swatched them this morning and they're super similar to this one, which I'll show you. And this is what the Blueberry Muffin palette looks like. So the shades are super similar. There's one in here and one in the Nabla palette that look exactly the same, but I feel like the one in this palette, the BH palette, is better. But that's just from a hand swatch, so I don't know. And because I don't know how either of these palettes behave, I think I want to start with my eyes. So I might mix and match both of these palettes because this one definitely has some neutral tones that I can use on my crease if I wanted to keep it on the more mellow side. And this one does not. I think I get a couple of really great looks from just this palette, but I don't know what to do. I think I am gonna mostly keep it on the more neutral side and use the Blueberry Muffin palette. Okay, so I'm gonna go with my Wayne Goss number 4. This is the brush that I love, love, love for my crease. And the shade 350 from the Blueberry Muffin palette. That's just this brown. That would be a good place to start. If you're noticing this on my face, welcome to it. I have no idea what it is. I woke up with it yesterday morning. I didn't do anything to my face. As far as I know, it's not a zit. I don't know what it is, but it's upsetting to me. So I didn't do any makeup yesterday. Figured give my skin a break. I didn't even put on sunscreen. I wore a hat and stayed out of the sun the entire day. So, I don't know what it is. At this point, I'm pretty much blaming everything on perimenopause. If I can't explain it, that's why it's happening. Also, I did my nails this morning. I used all of the new nail polishes except for the travel size blue one. Jackson helped me yesterday and he wore that on his nail for a little while. The formula appears to be exactly the same as the other gel-like formulas from Sally Hansen, and the brush is exactly the same. Obviously, it's a shorter wand or whatever you want to call it, but the brushes themselves, like the bristles on the brush themselves, are exactly the same, which I love. For my pinky, my first finger, I can pretty much go in with one swipe and it covers my entire nail. The rest of them need a couple of swipes. So these are the colors. Let's see if I can show you my yellow. This one is the Kathleen Lights Summer 90s-ish edition. The rest of the colors are from the new ones, and there's 3 coats on top of a white base. They were very much like what I would imagine a highlighter would look like if you just colored in your nail, you know, like a marker highlighter. That's very much what it looked like with 1 and 2 coats, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing. I just wanted to see how much I could build up the pigmentation. And the orange is the absolute palest. That has very little pigmentation. But the formula seems to be the same, so that makes me happy. I'm not gonna fight it any longer. I am gonna dip into the Cutie Midnight palette with this dark blue just on the outer corner of my eye and into my crease a little. Just to deepen that up a little bit and see what this had. Look at that. I mean, that was the tiniest amount that I could possibly get on my brush. I mean, that definitely added some depth. Okay, so I just swatched the shade right here called Stud Muffin, simply because I love the name. And this shade called Sapphire right here, and that's what they look like. This one's, my middle finger's more royal blue, and this is more of a midnight blue. So I think, in the name of really trying these eyeshadows out, I'm going to put both of them on my eyes, starting with the darker one on the outside, and then the royally blue on the middle. Okay, so with my number 2 Refer brush, I'm gonna dip into the Stud Muffin shade. Get that on my brush and just put it right out here and up into my crease, because you know how I do. I think that first dark blue shade that I used gave us a nice base for this. Oh, that was called Blue Hour. It's not very reflective, but I think it's really pretty. Looking like a crazy person, but trust the process, right? I'm just gonna clean that off a little bit. And then dip into that Sapphire shade, which, looks so good. I'm gonna bring that out just a little bit farther too. That's really pretty. Very little fallout. My brush is damp, but it's not like really wet. That's pretty cool. I don't know if I said this. I don't have any new like primer or brow product, so I just went in with my Wet n Wild Incognito concealer for my lids, and then the Benefit products that I've been using a lot on my brows. I'm gonna dip into this shade here called Air. I think that's gonna mesh really well with the blue. All right, I put way too much on my brush, so it's falling all over my face and my shirt. I'm just gonna layer it over that middle blue so it's not quite so stark. Now I'm gonna go in with my Refer number 14. It's just a really small, fluffy blending brush. I'm gonna go in with this shade down here called Fluffy and just blend out the edge of those blue shades so nothing looks too harsh. Might even take a little bit of that first brown shade we used to blend this part out where the darker blue sits. Yep, nothing natural, neutral, or subtle about this look at all. Okay, I think now is a good place to pause and do some face makeup. And then we'll be back to finish up the under eye once that's done, because this didn't appear to have a whole lot of fallout. I definitely had some fallout. I think for the most part, it was from putting too much on my brush and not being careful. So that's all cleaned up. So for foundation, I thought we could try one of these today. I'm very interested in the Amazonian clay foundation, 16-hour full coverage foundation. I won't be wearing this for 16 hours. It's already almost 10 o'clock in the morning, so my day's well into it. So I think I want to do this 2 different ways. I'm going to do one side with a damp sponge and the other side with my Tati Beauty Blendiful. I love that thing for putting on foundation. Boy, howdy. Really, it's good for applying any kind of cream product. It's so good. Or powder to like, if I know I'm gonna be going outside, I'll really powder heavily around here to kind of help keep my foundation in place while I wear sunglasses. Okay, I squeezed out a little bit on my palette. It is super, super thick. I'm a little bit nervous. I did all of my skincare already, and I actually put on the Fenty Beauty primer I received in a BoxyCharm a few months ago. I really like that primer so much. And since this is a thicker consistency, I thought smoothing out my skin a bit might be the way to go. All right, so I think I'm gonna go in first with my damp sponge and just see what this will do. I'm just gonna pat it around. The shade is absolutely too light. But we got that new bronzer, so we can bronze up with that and we should be okay. Always, always, always drag your foundation down your neck. Probably do your makeup before you put on the big jangly earrings. That's what that looks like. Using a damp sponge does tend to shear out the foundation a little bit. Gives you more of a natural kind of coverage. You can still see some of my discoloration right there. So, and I used maybe about half of what I put on there. So now we'll go in with my Blendiful. I'd really like to be able to cover those. Okay, that's the Blendiful side, and that's the damp sponge side. I definitely think the damp sponge side looks better, looks smoother. Weirdly, it seems like there might even be a bit more coverage. So I'm gonna put a little bit more on my palette and go back in with my sponge and just see if we can't make this look a little better. Okay, this is where we're at with the foundation. I added a little bit more, went over both sides with my dampened sponge. It hasn't really done much for covering much of my discoloration, to be perfectly honest. So now I'm just gonna go with my Wet n Wild Incognito concealer, and then I'll come back and we'll try out the rest of the new stuff I've got. Okay, I'm back. I did end up going over my cheeks with the Tarte Found Sealer. The Amazonian clay one just did not give me enough coverage with my rosacea through here. So I just put a little tiny bit on my sponge and just blotted over it, and I like that more. You can still see some, but I'm not sure about that Amazonian clay one. It's kind of a bummer. So I think the next time I do my makeup, I will do this all over and see how that ends up working out. It definitely seemed to have a little bit more coverage than the Amazonian clay. So, okie dokie, that's done. So next up, I'm gonna go in with this new eyeliner. It's from ColourPop. It's the ColourPop BFF Cream Gel Liner in the shade Crystal Crush. So I'm gonna put that in my waterline and I'll be right back. Okay, that is so nice, super smooth, Goes on really, really easily. I'm excited about that one. I think I'm gonna take that royal blue shade Sapphire and just keep that on the outer half, I think, of my lower lash line. I am going to dampen this eyeshadow so I don't get any fallout at all. Okay, and for the inner half, I'm gonna go with that light blue shade Air. And then I am so excited about this shade right here. This white. It's actually a duochrome from white to blue, and that's the shade Alma. And I'm gonna put that right on the inner corner and blend it into that light blue shade. When I first looked at this morning, I almost thought I would just pile on the dark blue and then put this over at the top of that. I think that would look amazing. That's really, really pretty. Oh my goodness. I think I'm gonna drag it into that light blue a little bit too. Yeah, that's pretty fun. I don't have a new mascara. I do have new mascaras, but I've got too many on the go right now. So I'm just gonna go in with the Wet n Wild Big Papa mascara, and then I'll be right back and we will work on the rest of my face. Okay, lashes are done, and I'm gonna go in with the new Juvia's Place bronzing palette that I got. I think I'm gonna start with this one right here and just see how that goes. I think with this foundation, because it's as light as it is, this could really work out well. Okay, so this shade right here, I have no idea if it's gonna work for me. So I'm gonna take a little tiny brush and use that to contour my lower lip like I normally would and just see if we can make it work. I don't think so. But what if we mix the two together? Oh, I'm not mad at that. It was pretty subtle before, but okay. I think those two shades together totally work. Very cool. Oh, that makes me happy. I may eventually pick up another shade of this, but we'll see. I'm gonna cheat a little bit and contour my lower lip and my Cupid's bow with the Makeup Geek bronzer that I typically use. Okay, I didn't pick up a new blush in this haul, but quite a while ago, I did pick up this blush from Milani. This is the shade Coral Crush. I haven't used it yet. I did swatch it and it swatched beautifully, so hopefully it'll work. So I'm just gonna use my Wayne Goss number 2 little blush brush. Get some on my brush and then just, oh, that's cute. That's very cute. I like that a lot. It's not lifting anything underneath it. My foundation isn't moving. Everything's still good. I do think I need just a little tiny bit more. That's the tip of my nose. I just love what blush does for your face. It's so good. And finally, we're on to the Jaclyn Cosmetics highlighter in the shade Iced. This swatched absolutely gorgeous the other day. So fingers crossed it looks good on my face like it did on my hand. That's really pretty. I'm gonna take an itty bitty brush. This is actually the Morphe M213. I believe this is the last Morphe brush I have in my collection because most of them I really, really don't like. And just brush over that with my finger gently to blend it in. Perfect. Okie dokie. And then we have one more product. This again isn't new from my Ulta haul, but it is new to my collection. I have not used it yet in this shade. It's the Maybelline Superstay 24 Hour. And I'm going with red. I'm going to apply this and then I will be back to try out the very last product from my haul. Okay, lipstick's on. I don't know how I feel about it. Ran into some technical difficulties applying it, so we'll see. I did have this in another shade, like a really pale kind of pearly pink, and I did not like that. So I've decluttered that from my collection. Not cute. So I don't know if I have a whole lot of faith in how this is gonna go, but we'll try it and see. So the last product we have is the Professional Super Setter. Got this in my Ulta haul and I'm super excited to try it out. Everyone loves this. So, all right, I do see a couple of larger drops. I'm just gonna pat over. Okay, that's it. That's all the products I picked up in my newest Ulta haul, plus the bonus eyeshadow palettes, which I really, really like. Highly recommend both of them. The Blueberry Muffin palette has more shade options, but the quality of both is spectacular. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe if you haven't already. Be good and remember to be kind to you.